Không thấy được cái đuôi của nó mấy bạn, khó thấy. Đi tiếp nha.
You spotted a squirrel. So that was either Ramil or Nafisa, our snow leopards. We do have a male and a female. Right now that area is closed off since it's a little hard for us to have that barrier for our cats. So glad we got to see a little tail there. Driving on through on the left, you can see a light shade of pink here. These are the greater flamingos. We saw Bean. That was her species here. And sometimes I like to crouch down and see if anybody's out and about. This is Eagle Trail here where the raptors live. So raptors is just a fancy word for animal or birds that eat meat. So we have the condor up there, Andean condor. We also have the harpy eagle that lives up there. We have one that likes to eat fish. I forget the species, but he's up there and he's really cool. Driving up through this area, we're headed up towards Northern Frontier. On the left-hand side, you will see this trench, not very exciting now, but when they were digging it up, they actually found a 2 million old California gray whale skeleton that is now at the Natural History Museum. They were able to tell us what it was. So it was a California gray whale. It was 2 to 3 million years old. So it was a piece of history that was right here. It makes you think that there might be fossils underneath, or that this might have all been underwater, since whales usually like a little bit deeper water so they can swim. Let's see, over here we have some Speaks gazelle and some lesser kudu. The gazelles are these small ones with a little black stripe on their side. The kudu have kind of like the white stripes going vertically. But even though the Speaks gazelle are smaller, I heard they run the show. I don't know what that means, but the care specialist was telling us. I think they just like get first dibs on food. Maybe the kudu are a little bit more mild and timid. On the left is where our iconic polar bears live. We have 3 of them in this area, and we do have a Skyfari tram that takes you back here, and it is free of charge with your admission. And there should be a care specialist talk at about 1 p.m. So I definitely recommend that because sometimes they're a little hard to find. There's a Bontabark right there. And then here we have the southern Gerenuk. There's a male right there having some breakfast.
And their helper can be in there with them.
Yeah, so they can go in there with them, absolutely. It all depends, I think, on the temperament of the species, whether or not they get classified as protected contact or full contact. These are the Chicoan peccaries here, sniffing around, seeing if their food got spread out, so they have to walk for it, kind of forage around like they would in the wild. And I know we were asking for panthers. Let's go check them out. They live on the right-hand side.
Giờ thì con có báo đen
I'm
nha
going
các
to
bạn.
park on the tail end of this habitat. We can walk on over and see where they are.
There's your bear, your wolves over there, Sarah. Smell them.
I know, I smell them.
The main wolves?
So good.
Oh yeah, they are ripe.
Đi có báo đen mà chưa thấy nó mấy bạn.
I smell it, but I don't see it.
Cái chuồng này là con sư tử núi, Mountain Lion. Dạ. Chưa thấy nha mấy bạn, còn sớm quá, nó chưa ra.
These barriers have been getting everybody.
Oh yeah, you can see them. So bad because they're so unsuspecting.
Chưa thấy mấy bạn.
So many people trip on them.
They are. So I know you guys were asking for panthers. Another word for these guys is mountain lion. We also have puma, cougar. They have all the names here. So when you're thinking of a black panther, we called it a melanistic panther. That means that they had extra melanin in their genetic coding, so they came out darker than the rest. Think of albinism. That's actually a lack of pigment, which is why the eyes are red. There's no pigment in the eyes, so you can see the blood flow back there. And melanistic is just the opposite. They have extra melanin.
Nó ngủ ghê nữa bạn. Ngủ dưới đó. Thấy không?
Why do they have other names?
Trốn dưới đây.
So because they're have the widest region of any like North
Trốn
American
tút ở
cat,
dưới
it
luôn.
depends
Giờ
on
mới
where
thấy.
they, like the people call them. So yeah, exactly. So if I maybe go to Idaho, they might call them cougars. Here we call them mountain lions. But I know in Florida, the Florida panther is there. That is a subspecies of this guy. So
Không sao.
yeah.
It's guy or guys?
I think these are two. This is a male and a female here. So boy and girl. Yeah. I know they're usually sleeping in their little cave area, but I wanted you guys to check them out. I know you guys asked for them.
They're cool.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad.
Dừng lại lần nữa nha. Nó ngủ rồi. Rồi bây giờ mình đi tiếp nha.
Sky firing in, so if you guys aren't scared of heights, there is this gondola that takes you right here that you can come back and check out this area.
I am not scared.
Oh, so we can get off and then we can get back on?
Yep.
Đây là cái chỗ mà 4D nè mấy bạn. Đó, chút xíu nữa mình vô lại nha. Bây giờ mình đi một vòng trước rồi xíu nữa mình sẽ đi bộ ha. Rồi đi tiếp nha.
You peeps, come back.
Oh yeah, I remember. Mommy, I
Are
remember.
they awake? No. I'll come pick you guys up over there.
Yeah, I remember. I remember this thing. There's one you know.
We're going to check out to see if the main wolves are awake for us. They were our scouts. There is one.
Đi xuống nha mấy bạn.
Oh, nice. You guys want to go check them out? It's a main wolf there. I know it's not a feline, but it is a canine, and they're super cool.
Con quất với mấy bạn.
Thank you. There were 3?
Just two. So we have
Không thấy
Isadora
luôn.
and Bravo. Since I started working here.
Chó sói nha mấy bạn. Quất là chó sói.
Đó,
nó đó, thấy
I know
không?
you guys have been here quite often, so maybe you guys know. But right now we have Isadora and Bravo.
Con này không thuộc họ mèo nha.
They are also known as the fox on stilts, even though they're neither fox nor wolf. They're their own genus in the Canidae family, so they're kind of their own type of canine. They're really awesome. They have those long legs there. They do use it to kind of stomp on the ground and make their food come out. They're going to be looking for guinea pigs, rodents, small birds, fruits, and vegetables. They are omnivorous. Pretty different from the cats that we're looking at today, since they mostly rely on meat. These guys have a little bit of everything, and they love fruit as well. Who doesn't? High in sugar, delicious. And when do they...
Con này thuộc họ canine nha mấy bạn. Canine là chó. Còn mèo là feline ha.
A little bit right now, but it'll hit us a little bit more later. They urinate on the perimeter here, and they also.
Vậy mặt nó
So that is where the smell is coming from. Is like their urine and their marking of their territory. I'm sure if you were to suck, some of that smell remains on their fur, but for the most part, it's like they're spraying around their perimeter here because they want everybody to know this is their area. Exactly. I'm like, we would never want to take this from you. You're totally fine, but okay. They're a little bit, they're crepuscular, so that means they're active dawn and dusk. So right now is a great chance to see them. I'm glad we got to see one walking towards the middle of the day. They're not very active. And in this case, for these two right here, Isadora is actually the bigger, shaggier one. Bravo has, his hair is just a little bit shorter. They might. I know one of them is Bravo's a little bit more tactile than Isadora.
đi qua đi lại ha.
What was that?
Sounds like a lion. Let's go check him out.
Rồi đi nha mấy bạn, đi tiếp nha.
That really?
Thankfully, he's like a hop and a skip
Nghe
away,
cái tiếng
so
nghe
he's
cái
right
tiếng
over
cái
here.
gầm gừ á, mình nghĩ là con sư tử ha, cho nên bây giờ đi tiếp nha. Và coi là
You
con
guys
gì.
get it? You guys hear it getting louder?
Đây là sư tử. Đó đó mấy bạn.
Can we get that?
Yeah, we're gonna go into this little fence area.
What's making that noise?
Yeah, what's making that noise?
That is Ernest, the lion.
Oh,
So
the
come
lion.
on over here, guys.
What's weird?
Đi xuống đây. Thấy con sư tử nha.
Oh my god. What? Come in.
Come on in. Oh, of course he's walking that way. We'll see if he makes a loop around. Oh, they're coming. They're coming. He's gorgeous, right?
He's out too.
Wow. Nói rồi mấy bạn. Đó đó mấy bạn.
Oh my god.
Con này là con cái nè. Con này là con cái nè. Còn con này là con đực nè. Con đực có cái bờm nha. Nó to ghê luôn các bạn. Đó, con này là con đực nha. Wow, nó to thật luôn.
Watch for the spray, guys.
Con kia là con.
He's gonna spray. Every time you see that tail lift, just make sure you're not in the angle of that area. They're communicating.
Nó chưa cái đít của nó vô là chuẩn bị nó đái hay nó ỉa đó các bạn.
He will follow her around. She will either urinate or bark as well, which is the same thing they use for urine. And he will smell it, and that is a way to kind of gauge what she's up to, what's going on with her. They are brother and sister, but this is a natural instinct that they have. That's how they kind of communicate what's going on in there.
Would they breathe?
Wow. I took a good
Pig
picture.
beetle. I was reading up on those guys and why they're so uncoordinated. Turns out that they
Mommy, I
don't open
turned the
that
picture
heart shell
right
wide enough, so
before
they're always
they
kind of
all
bumping
both
into
left.
it. So I guess they're a little mosquito.
Я тоже.
Is what Google
They
said.
need to shoot you when you're
This was perfect timing.
It really
That
was.
was perfect timing.
They came over, they saw us, they looked at
I
us.
literally took a picture.
Good job, you
Both of
guys.
them straight before they left.
And they're like, and then we're gonna exit stage right over there.
So they're back behind the scenes.
Not
now?
too
So
early, not
it looks like they're in that little cave area actually.
Nó trốn vô trong rồi các bạn.
Sniffing around, seeing what's going on.
They may come out as well, right?
not see them.
See them on the other side.
If we literally came a little bit later, we would not see them.
That is true. We floored it over here.
Oh yeah, I see the people.
Yeah, I think they're getting food.
The male actually was, but the female can regurgitate that, so she can also make it as well. So they were communicating towards each other, and there's a little bit of like that sibling, like they kind of fight over the same pedestal. Like she'll pick him off, and he like starts roaring. He's like, no, I don't want to leave. And you can see they got lots of enrichment today. That ball right there, they can toss it around. That squash, they have food all over the place. Today is Sunday, so it might be what we call Bunny Sundays here. They get full prey. It is to maybe euthanize the again. It is frozen first, but it's the whole shape of the animal, so that gets them pretty excited. As opposed to maybe like bones and ribs, they're like, ooh, I can see the entirety of it, and they really like that.
Oh,
So cool, you guys. Yeah. In a safari.
Trốn trong rồi, không có ngoài nữa.
These guys might try something, but there is a birth control measure between the female because we don't want for their sister babies. Yeah.
Are they close to like the African store?
Trốn luôn rồi. Nó thấy người nó trốn mất tiêu rồi. Hy vọng nó ra thêm lần nữa.
So chances are they just came up from
Make the right turn to go catch the tour. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And there's a jeep.
If you guys are ready, we can head back in. Looks like that might have been all the energy they wanted to consume today. They sleep about 18 to 20 hours a day and are mostly nocturnal. Clap their hands there. Presentation is in 10 minutes, so we're going to zoom on over to the Wegaforth Bowl. Again, a personal cat presentation by some care specialists. So if you had any questions, specific questions about care, about the species, about any of the cats, get them ready in your noggins now. That way you can ask the professionals, the people who work with all these cats. See if anybody is awake here. So if you look through over there, if you guys look straight ahead, there is a jaguar over there. You can take a picture, but we're going to stay on the cart.
So those spots are way different than the others.
Absolutely. So they're called rosettes. They kind of look like roses. I also call them chocolate chip cookies. They're squiggly circles with spots inside of them. So they have the mix of kind of everything. They got the hollow circles. They got the solid spots. They're just in a different formation. And again, that white underbelly to help them up on the tree so nobody can really see them coming. This is Nindiri, our female jaguar, and they are mostly solitary, so she's okay being by herself.
Oh, there's the doggy.
There's a dog, yeah. She's not excited about us. She's like, I don't care about you guys.
So there's a dog in there with her?
No, over here, Jen.
Oh yeah, there's one right here. Yeah, that's why Nindiri was like, what's going on over there? Oh, that was awesome. Okay, we'll keep on going here. We're going to get to our special presentation.
Is that a security dog?
That's a cheetah dog.
Yeah, it is. That's a cheetah dog, yeah.
Look at him. He's so cute.
He's beautiful too.
Are you okay if we drive through? Okay, perfect.
Look at him.
We'll zoom on through here. Now we're looking at the heart of Elephant Odyssey. It is the elephants. Right now they're getting it all ready for the elephants to come out. It definitely takes an army here to make sure that everything is perfect and ready for the elephants to come out. For any of the animals, honestly. You want to make sure everything's nice and clean, the food is ready, and they're as comfortable as possible. This is the outside area of the animal care or the elephant care center. It just looks big because elephants are big too. So just in case they decide to lean or anything, we want something that holds the weight of elephants. Their scale is in there. There's an elephant right in there. I think that might be Saba there. Hanging out, maybe waiting for training, waiting actually for her habitat to be cleaned up as well. Yeah, good job everyone. The secretary birds. This is Charlie here by the window and Stella over here, the female. Stella hasn't molted her tail feathers yet, so it's kind of, I can tell them apart right now. She's got those long feathers. Charlie has a little bit more blunt of a tail right now, and he's coming over. Hello. She's like, get away from me. Poor Charlie. And there's a magpie up there. His name's Rico. They're in the corvid family. If you kind of just zoom into his face, he looks kind of like a crow. So it's that same family of the crows, ravens, and jays, and magpies. These guys are raptors as well. They do a fun little tap dance on their prey. So they like snakes, mice, and lizards as well. And again, that was Charlie and Stella, and that was Stella giving Charlie the old runaround there. We have some beautiful enrichment placed out here for our elephants, so every day is a little different, and that way they're constantly experiencing something new. Here we have Devi, D-E-V-I. She is our Asian elephant female. She's about 41 years old or so, so she's actually not the oldest elephant we have. That title belongs to Mary. She's about 57. She's looking around for her snacks. She doesn't have those big long tusks, which is one way you can tell she is a female Asian elephant, whereas the African elephants, both the males and the females will have really long tusks. On my right, you can see glimpses of the camels. These are the dromedary camels, Zara and Karima. Getting their breakfast. Everyone's getting breakfast today. And driving on through, as I turn the corner, you're going to want to look on my right-hand side. You're going to see the beautiful California condor. These guys are a type of vulture. They have those beautiful featherless heads because they eat carrion. And in there right now are two ravens that they live with. They are on purpose. They did not sneak in. They're looking around here. They have a beautiful 6 to 8 foot wingspan, and they are a great success story for the zoo, as there were only 22 back in 1982, and we helped bring them back from the brink of extinction by bringing the entire group in. We partnered up with the LA Zoo and the Santa Barbara Zoo. We were able to give them a safe place to lay their eggs and raise their chicks without the threat of lead poisoning. And now there's over 450, and more than half of them are free flying out in the real world. So it was a great effort on everyone's part, and now we have some out there. And they do have biologists that monitor the health of those condors that are out there. Oh, there's a person in there with the meerkats. There's one kind of emerging there from the ground, looking around. Oh, alrighty, my friends, I'm going to get off mic really quick just to give our care specialists a heads up that we are on our way. Feel free to look around. We're actually going to pass through the edible garden on my left, where you're going to see bananas and dragon fruit. There's another rock hyrax up there as well. I love their little permanent smiles.
Chuẩn bị đi nghe người ta, mấy người mà chuyên gia người ta giải thích cho mấy cái con, cách chăm sóc mấy con này cho mình nghe nha mấy bạn. Đó là một phần của cái tour này hả? Trong này cũng rộng ghê nha, quá trời rộng luôn á.
Fabulous. They know we're on our way and they're going to get everything ready for our espresso presentation. Like I said, hundreds of people could sit there, but only us 10 people will sit there. So very exciting. I love this tour. And as we drive on through here, if you like animals with pouches, like the Tasmanian devil and the wombat, you can find them on the left here in the little outback area. Here we have a kookaburra named Matilda. She lives in here. Kookaburras are a very iconic bird in Australia. I heard they're called the wild man's alarm clock because they can get quite loud in the mornings doing their laugh. They're called the laughing kookaburras. And as we drive through here, these are cycads. All of these guys that look kind of like spiny palm trees. Believe it or not, they're actually in the pine family. And they've been around since the time of the dinosaurs. So this is a very prehistoric plant that is still alive today. This is a male plant right here, and that's a female plant with the cones right here. So these are females. They do have kind of opposite or distinctive trees there. So the males have the pollen and the females have those cones with the seeds. Other things that are blooming around here are the hibiscus. We're going to be driving through the reptile area right now, and you will see just how lovely the hibiscus are. Jump through the front plaza here. Looks like the party has started. Thank you.
Bắt đầu đông rồi các bạn. Mở cửa là người ta vô rồi đó.
What a wonderful day to come to the zoo. Perfect weather for walking around, getting your steps in and looking at animals. And animals tend to be a little bit more active when the weather is a little bit gloomier. Hello, just because they like to stay cool, so they're not going to want to expend too much energy on really hot days. Driving through here, if you were to walk straight ahead where the cart is going, that's where the Skyfari is. So just in case you were wondering, if you go straight through this way, you will see the entrance for that ride that gets you all the way on the other side to the polar bears. And there is a sign there that says Wildlife Care Specialist Talk at 1 p.m. So again, that's a good time to head over, as they don't really tend to be that visible any other time. They like being inside. Here we have these beautiful multicolored hibiscus. And we're now in the reptile area of the zoo.
And
I'm going to have to reverse. So I trust you guys not to make fun of me. I've practiced this. We're going to just reverse park here. You can see the beautiful timeline that lets you know a little bit of history of the zoo. And we're going to head into Wegaforth Bowl here. Just rearranging this that way we can easily get out. after we're done with our special presentation.
Đang ve xe lại.
How rich is the guy that started YouTube?
Probably. I want to see what YouTube channel
You have some questions ready, bud? Perfect. All right, guys. Get those questions ready. We're going to have a special presentation and a chance to ask questions to the care
Rồi đi
specialist.
xuống ha. Bây giờ mình sẽ gặp những người mà chăm sóc mấy con thú ở đây á. Họ sẽ trả lời cho mình nếu mình có câu hỏi ha. Rồi. Mình đi xuống nha mấy bạn. Chỗ này là người ta làm cái presentation đó. Làm cho mấy người mà họ chăm sóc thú vật ở đây á. Họ là chuyên gia đó. Họ sẽ trả lời những câu hỏi của mình và họ sẽ giới thiệu về mấy con vật không. Rồi. Bây giờ còn rất là sớm, ít người cho nên là dễ để mà đi nghe để mà hiểu người ta nói gì ha. Mình đang đi xuống nha. Đây là cái sân khấu nè.
Perfect. Yeah, slide on down from the second row. Perfect. Well, welcome everyone. Yeah, you guys can spread out. You don't have to be all crunched. Just the whole row. Come on down, come on down, come on down. Yeah, there. Make sure everybody's comfortable. There we go. Perfect. So my name's Jessica, and I'm one of the wildlife care specialists here at Wake Point Bowl. So we are a kind of a behind-the-scenes area. Most of our animals do live behind the scenes. However, we do wildlife educational shows for people pretty much every day. So we love getting groups in like you guys, or we do a big show here during a lot of the year. So yeah, we absolutely love what we do, and all of our animals are what we call wildlife ambassadors. So basically, they are ambassadors for their species. So what that means is we get you close to them, we talk all about them, and we hope that you will share with your friends, your family, anyone else, everything you learned here today. So,
Con báo ra nè mấy bạn.
because I know you guys are on a cat tour.
Con leopard ra.
So we're getting nice and up close with our cheetah. This here is
Cheetah chứ.
Taraji. And these are her wildlife care specialists. This is Melissa in the front, Victoria right there. And is she purring? I assume she's purring, guys. Go ahead, let's take that in. So
Nhìn
if you
kìa.
can't hear it, you can also see her throat vibrating. And purring is just a sign that they're nice and content and comfortable. Taraji is 12 years old, so she's been doing this quite a long time. She's one of our veteran cheetahs. A lot of times people want to know, how long do cheetahs live? And it's kind of a two-part question, because out in the wild, 7, 8, 9 years old would be a pretty old cheetah. Of course, Taraji is 12, so here at the zoo, cheetahs typically double their lifespan. We've had them live up to 16 years old, 15, 16. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So almost doubling what their lifespan is usually in the wild. And of course, they have amazing veterinary care. We have 7 full-time veterinarians on staff. We have 2 wonderful nutritionists that help to make sure that they're nice and healthy and they get all the eating and everything they need. And of course, they have all their wonderful wildlife care specialists that are always keeping an eye on all their health and behavior and making sure that they get all that they need there. So that's what we like to chalk it up to. Now, Taraji is different than a lot of the other cats that you guys probably saw on this tour today. So think about the cats you've seen. Tigers, you guys see some snow leopards?
We saw the tail.
Tail of a snow
Tail,
leopard, okay.
yeah.
Did you see any leopards or jaguars?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Did you guys see the lions?
We
Yeah. So you guys have seen a lot of the cats today here at the zoo. So I want you to think about those cats and think about how different they are built than our cheetah friend here. So Taraji is of course built for speed. The cheetah is the fastest land animal on the planet. So you're looking at the fastest animal on 4 legs around. Do you guys have any guesses how fast she can go?
130 miles.
That's a good. How much?
24 kilometers.
24 kilometers an hour. All right, it's higher than that. So she can run up to 70 miles per hour, which comes out to 100 and what is it? Something kilometers. I don't know. I'm very bad
You know
at that.
more than I do. Yeah.
I'm very. It's over 100 kilometers an hour. I know that. So yeah, you guys can imagine that. This cat does not have an engine in it like a car does. And what's more impressive is she can go 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. So 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.4 seconds. That's faster than most sports cars out there. But when you're looking at her, you want to know she is a sprinter. So that means she's doing these runs for short distances. About a quarter of a mile is as long as she can hold her top speed without, after that she's completely pooped out and exhausted. So they're the sprinters. They're not marathon runners, so they're not running 70 miles an hour everywhere. Lots of times people want to know how we get our cheetahs to exercise here at the zoo. So I want you to know that they are like other cats, so they are pretty lazy. They sleep anywhere 19-20 hours a day still, even though they are the fastest land animal on the planet. But in order to get them exercises, we have habitats in the back that are larger, that allow them to run around and kind of get that energy out. We also have areas on the other side of the zoo where we do a cheetah run experience for some of our guests as well, where they can chase a lure off leash. And if you've ever seen the safari park, we have a run up there as well, where we get all our cheetahs up there running, chasing a big lure and reaching those top spots. So why is the cheetah the fastest? We kind of said they look different than a lot of the other cats. So she doesn't have that big giant head that a lot of other cats have, or that big muscular body. She has a lot of muscles, but she's really lean. So that's why she can reach those top speeds. But also, what you can't see is inside her chest cavity there, she has an enlarged heart and enlarged lungs. So that's helping pump blood and oxygen to her body that she needs. She also has a very rigid tail. So other cats are going to use their tail when they jump up the trees and things like that. The cheetah, not really known for climbing trees. Every once in a while they'll go up in a tree, but for the most part they stay on the ground. But that tail of theirs is rigid, and it's kind of used like a rudder on a boat. And the reason I say that is because when they're running, like say 60 miles an hour behind a gazelle, that gazelle is zigging and zagging. They need to be able to keep up and make those turns. So she flicks that tail one side or another and is able to keep up with that. Yep. Another unique thing about the cheetah, as she comes around, look, see if you get an up close look at her nails, and they might show you a little bit of it up close, but you see here, look at her nails. You can see them right now. That's a little weird for a cat, right? Most cats pull their nails back into a sheath. So that keeps their nails super sharp. They're ready to fight with those nails if they need to, or catch their prey. The cheetah kind of has feet like a dog, I would say, because those nails are dull, naturally like that. The only sharp nail on the cheetah is on the inside of the leg. It's called the dew claw. Dogs normally have dew claws as well. And that one gets really sharp, and they use that to trip their prey, like when they're running. So why are their nails dull like that? Because they use, do you guys play any sports? Any of you guys? Yeah? You guys ever play any sports? Do you ever put cleats on your feet to play? Some of sports take cleats. So the cheetah has those nails built in, much like running cleats to run on the ground. So again, everything about her built for running. The other unique thing about the cheetah, so think about where they live, out in Africa. They of course live alongside lions, hyenas, leopards out there, lots of different animals that would steal food or are bigger, stronger than the cheetah. She's gonna pretty much want to run away. That's gonna be her number one thing, is run away and kind of avoid other animals, because she doesn't have, again, the fighting mechanisms that a lot of these other animals have. So those sharp claws, the big jaws, she doesn't have that. She depends on her running in order to stay away from these animals. In fact, so much, the cheetah has actually adapted to hunt during the daytime. So in order to do that and hunt in the daytime, she actually has those black stripes going down underneath her eyes. And if you look at her eyebrows, they're actually kind of, they stick out a little bit, almost like a ball cap, like you guys are wearing. So it helps her with the sunlight out there. So she's hunting in the heat of the day. It's really hot, really bright. She wants to be able to see everything. So she has the kind of the ball cap on, and then the black stripes are much like a baseball player or a football player might wear the grease under their eyes, you know, to help with the sunlight. So they kind of copied that from the cheetah. So all around, she's a built athlete for running, and also for, of course, hunting to prey she hunts. So the main thing the cheetahs eat are going to be gazelles and small antelopes and things like that. They don't hunt in a big pride like lions do. So they aren't going to be taking out the big giant animals like water buffaloes or those kind of things. They're going to be kind of sticking to the medium to smaller stuff usually. And for a long time we thought cheetahs were actually completely solitary. And they are for the most part solitary. However, there has been a lot of studies lately finding that, of course, mother cheetahs have their babies with them for up to 2 years to train them all the ways of out there. And then also, sometimes the boys will stay together, like 2 or 3 brothers might form a little bit of a coalition. So they might work together kind of in a little bit what we call a pack, but not really. So they kind of have like their territories, and then they'll kind of hang out together in order to defend themselves, because of course cheetahs are not very, like I said, very strong, able to like, you know, fight off of those bigger animals that they would live around. So one of the things that we definitely want to talk about for the cheetah, though, a lot of people want to know, what is their current conservation status out in the wild? Thank you, Taraji. So these guys are, good news, they're not endangered. However, they are threatened. Their numbers are down to about 7,000 cheetahs out in the wild today. And to put that in perspective, there were 100,000 cheetahs 100 years ago. So 100,000 to 7,000 in less than 100 years. It is a big deal for these guys. The good news is San Diego Zoo is out there on the ground right now. We have, I'm sure you learned about our conservation hubs that we're kind of working on today. And we have, one of our hubs is the Savannah Hub. That's where a lot of the cheetahs are found. So the cheetah is actually one of the animals that we are focused on helping out in the wild. So we are doing that in a two-part thing. First of all, out in the wild, out there, one of the big things cheetahs face is conflict with humans. So any predator on the planet today, a lot of the times, any of the four-legged predators on the planet today deal with human interaction, and it's kind of, even our wolves here in North America, we've seen that, our bears, finding ways for humans to live alongside them. So it's no different in Africa with their large animals such as the cheetah. So a lot of times the cheetah sometimes might decide, instead of chasing that gazelle that's going to run 50 miles an hour, I'm going to eat this goat or sheep that the farmers might have in the pen. Seems easier. You can't really blame them for making the choice. However, we definitely want them not to make that choice. And so a lot of the programs that they have in place are, one of them is putting guardian dogs, so these large dogs out with the flocks of sheep or goats for the farmers. And they actually give these dogs completely to the farmers, pay for their food, their medical, all of those things. And so they'll watch out over the flocks, and it keeps the cheetahs and some of the other animals away from bothering them. Of course, they're helping them with fencing options, and then a lot of education on why the cheetah is important. A lot of times for the cheetah, they get blamed, because we were talking about how they hunt in the daytime. They get blamed for the hunting of the animals, but it's not usually the cheetah doing it. It's some of the other animals that are hunting at night sometimes. So even though the cheetah numbers have gone down because the cheetahs will get shot because they're who they see in the day when the humans are awake. And then the other thing that the cheetahs face is the illegal pet trade. So I know it's crazy. I didn't even really think too much about it, because you think living here in the U.S. there isn't too much of a problem, but there are a lot of people that do consider cheetahs as a pet. And we had someone on a tour a few weeks ago that showed us one of her friends or neighbors that had a cheetah and a snow leopard in their yard. And that's, completely illegal. And there's actually apps. Well, it's illegal in most states. There are still states that find it legal, but it's really bad for the cheetah, because a lot of times they're taken from the wild as young, as babies, and because the mother has to leave the babies to go hunt. And so a lot of times the wildlife poachers will take the babies, and then they will transport them into the wildlife trafficking trade all over the world. So it is a big problem around the world. So definitely something to keep an eye out. If you ever see something, you can always say something. There's a lot of different wildlife organizations, whether you're traveling overseas or even here in our own backyard. So definitely something to keep an eye on. So do you guys have any questions about the cheetah or anything like that?
Was she like excited to see us? Did she not even really think about us?
She's pretty, as long as people are still, she's pretty calm and comfortable and cool out here. She does shows here for lots and lots of people, so you guys being a small group. The only thing that ever gets Taraji is like when, or any cheetah really, is when people move away from their group. So if like a little kid runs off, that's just a natural instinct for the cheetahs, like, oh, watch the thing that went away from the herd or this. And that's like a natural, like, they'll focus on it. It's not that she's gonna go try and get them, but she automatically, it's her instinct, her natural instinct is to watch for those type of things. So the biggest thing you'll see about Taraji is she's constantly looking farther. So the cheetah's always scanning about 50 yards to 100 yards away, usually. And so she's normally honestly looking out and doesn't really focus on what's going on right here, because she's been doing this a long time, so she's very comfortable with her trainers. So yeah.
You said that they have a smaller head
than the other big cats. Yeah.
Are they less intelligent?
No, I mean, head size doesn't necessarily mean intelligence, and we found that with most animals. It doesn't always correlate. Some animals it does, but like rats and mice are super smart. And they're small, so there's not really a lot of correlation with that. It more has to do with all the other different things going on in the brain and all that. So yeah, she's not any less intelligent, I wouldn't say. Any other great questions? Yeah, well, you guys have been an awesome group.
Me too.
Yeah, thank you. Will she swim? So imagine the watering holes in Africa. They're not a safe place to go. There'll be hippos there, crocodiles, all sorts of different things. So when they go take a drink, it's literally take the drink and leave, because that's one of the most dangerous spots for any animal to kind of come in. Two, so she doesn't like swimming or the water really, but she does actually enjoy getting fish. So one of the things that she gets as a special treat here, is actually fish. You might have saw her get one. So she'll get that, she can have like 2 or 3 a day per our nutritionist. So even though they wouldn't normally get fish in the wild, it's just like a healthy, just like fish is healthy for humans, it's just like a healthy thing. And since our cats I go gaga for them, so we like to have a special treat. And then on hot days, today's not too bad, but we've had hot days where we'll freeze the fish into fishicles or bloodsicles. So we'll make all the different types of Cheeto popsicles that they like to eat and stay cool. So in our harsh San Diego winters here, or summers here, all the harsh San Diego weather. So any other questions? Yeah, boys. All right.
Well, thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah, that's just called, we call them June bugs, but I think they have a different name.
Big beetle, yeah.
Big beetle, they're just flying beetles, they won't hurt you. So,
They can't open their shell wide enough. They're clumsy.
yeah, they're clumsy, they run into everything. They'll run into the water and everything like that. Some of our cats, our smaller ones, will just jump up and grab them in the air during our presentations. They're like that good of hunters. But yeah. All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming on down today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day at the zoo.
Thanks so much.
Rồi xong rồi đi nha mấy bạn.